Yo guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Chelsea Review. This is the series where I go over the activities of Chelsea Football Club in the last week. So what's been kicking off at Cobham this week? Well, the FA Cup is back. Round 3 of the FA Cup returned to our screens last week with the demolition of Salford City 8-0 by Manchester City, a shock defeat by Brentford at the hands of Plymouth Argyle, and Tottenham taking 120 minutes to beat 5th tier Tamworth. Honestly, there's just no surprises there. More importantly though, the Blues hosted the struggling League 2 side Morecambe at Stamford Bridge on Saturday, and they had a rout, with goals coming from Christopher Nkunku, Joao Felix, and 2 for Tosin Adarabioyo. What? This guy's a centre-back. How is he scoring 2 in the same game? That's better than our strikers at the minute. Anyway, the game started slowly for us, but we had our chance in the 17th minute after the ref gave us a penalty for a Morecambe handball. All that had to happen was for Nkunku to score for us to take the lead. He's scored pens for us before. He can do that, surely. Right? Nope, he fucked it. With a great save from the Morecambe keeper, keeping the scores at 0-0. Fortunately, our chance came before half-time with a shot from Tosin Adarabioyo being deflected in. At half-time, it was 1-0. I was at this game, and when the teams came out, I had low hopes for the second half, seeing how barely anything happened in the first half. But boy, I was wrong. Whatever Maresca did at half-time really made a difference, as we scored again 5 minutes after kickoff, with Nkunku scoring the rebound of Renato Vega's shot. And the goals just did not stop afterwards. In the 70th minute, Tosin Adarabioyo scored a stunner from outside the box, and then Joao Felix scored a 2-minute brace, with the final score ending 5-0 to Chelsea. Understandably, Tosin got man of the match. The fact he just scored a brace is just crazy. How is he doing that? He's a centre-back. But in all seriousness, it was a beautiful strike, and props to Tosin for doing that. The fans told him to shoot, he obliged, and the result was spectacular. Now he's going to be going to Maresca and asking him to take pens because Nkunku's so shit at them. Overall, it was a good outing from the boys. But on the top of Nkunku, our top scorer really looked off the pace that day. Whether it was just he had an off day or he just doesn't want to play for the club anymore, I don't know. But he hasn't played as well as we have seen him since it was stated that he wanted to go elsewhere, but as he wasn't getting enough time at Chelsea. But more on Nkunku later. Now, there was another exciting FA Cup game at Arsenal. Wait, what does this have to do with Chelsea? Honestly, I just really wanted to talk about this game because it was just so funny. If you want to keep watching about Chelsea, skip to this minute in the video. The Gunners hosted Manchester United at the Emirates on Friday night, and what a game this was. Manchester United fans didn't have much hope, especially since their team has not performed well at all this season. The first goal came in the 19th minute, but Gabriel Martinelli is found to be offside. A lucky scrape for United, definitely. 20 minutes later, a pass from Mazraoui finds Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the box, who is unstable to get his shot off because of an untimely tackle from Gabriel Jesus, and the ref says play on. Really? Actually, yes. And furious with the decision, Bruno decides to find his boot, which had been taken off in Jesus' tackle, testament to how good that tackle actually was, and Bruno throws it onto the turf in anger, resulting in a yellow card for the Manchester United captain. And to make matters worse, play has to be stopped as Gabriel Jesus is taken off because he's ruptured his ACL. Yeah, I think you know a tackle's bad when the player making the tackle goes down injured. Anyway, after all that excitement, nothing much else happens for the remainder of the half. Fortunately for United, they find an opener in the 52nd minute through none other than Bruno Fernandes. Redemption for his injustice in the first half. This goal offered a quick response from Arsenal in the form of Kai Havertz, who scuffed it wide. That was the story of his night, to be honest. But then disaster hits for high-flying Manchester United as Diogo Dalot gets sent off as he mistimes his tackle on Marino, resulting in his second yellow card. And then immediately afterwards, United find an equaliser. Coincidence? I think not. But things just went from bad to worse for United, as a supposed Maguire foul on Havertz in the box gave Arsenal a penalty. This was just making everyone think, what is going on? If it wasn't obvious before, it is now. Arsenal have a 12th man on the pitch, and his name is Andy Madley. And, of course, there is no VAR at this game, because it's round 3 of the FA Cup. So this means that the referee has the final decision, even if the decision is complete BS. This Don could say there's cows living on the moon, and the players would have to believe him because there's no VAR to check it. That's what it basically meant. Anyway, Manchester United fans were fearful. They knew it. They've lost here and now. Until they didn't. A superb save from Altay Bayindir denied Arsenal the lead and saved Manchester United fans from heartbreak. I honestly would not have been surprised if this ref demanded a retake because Jasmine in row C breathed funny, which distracted Martin Odegaard. Anyway, the game went on. But before we do that, we need to talk about the melee that occurred before the penalty was taken, because it was just so funny. Okay, all jokes aside, you could clearly see the frustration from Manchester United as they knew the ref was an idiot and clearly biased towards Arsenal, which led to tempers flaring and a fight breaking out, resulting in yellow cards from Maguire, Havertz and Gabriel. Not long after, Alejandro Garnacho was replaced by Amad Diallo, much to the excitement of Manchester United fans, who hoped he would provide the winner here as he has done so many times. And so the game went on, with Arsenal having 2 good chances. What? No, actually. It was a very good chance that was poorly executed by Kai Havertz, who blazed over the bar, and another very good chance by Declan Rice, which Bayindir put behind for a corner. And that was the end of the 90. And because replays were scrapped at the end of last year, it was now on to extra time. In the 102nd minute, Arsenal had yet another great chance as a ball whipped in by Jorginho found Trossard, who would have scored if it was not for Matthias de Ligt, who cleared it off the line. Wow, that's the first useful thing he did. 5 minutes later, United were on the break, with Joshua Zirkzee managing to send Chalobah flat on his backside before running onwards and finding Diallo, who returned the ball to his teammate, who makes an attempt at goal but is pushed away by the fingertips of David Raya. And after all that, 120 minutes of football ended all square, meaning only one thing: penalties. Which United win because of one man. Actually 2, but the most important man first. Kai Havertz. No, I'm joking. I actually mean Bayindir, who had the game of his life on Sunday, as he managed to help United win on pens by saving Kai Havertz's penalty. This had Chelsea fans jumping for joy, knowing Arsenal paid 60 million for a flop, and it also had Tottenham fans jumping for joy, knowing that Arsenal won't win the FA Cup, before realising they probably won't either. But all in all, what a game this was. Arsenal had a 12th man on the field and still didn't manage to win. But I think we can all agree who the man of the match was. This guy was as high as David Coote on a night out and he still couldn't get Arsenal to win.
That fucking last video can't go anywhere.
Needless to say, Mikel Arteta had his own opinions on who was at fault for Arsenal's defeat. This brother paid off the referee and still finds a way to blame the ball. Nah, there's no winning with this guy. So that means round 3 of the FA Cup is now over, and I for one can certainly not wait for the drama to unfold in round 4. Something I almost definitely can wait for is Chelsea in the Premier League. Nah, it's fine, we don't have to talk about that. The Blues hosted Bournemouth on Tuesday night to some high hopes after a Morecambe victory that made Chelsea fans believe they might actually be on the return. And it certainly seemed that way as Chelsea started strong with an outstanding goal in the 13th minute. It was an outstanding piece of play from none other than Cole Palmer. Nicholas Jackson's pass found him on the edge of the 18-yard line, with all Cole having to do is dummy Mike Travers, sending him to the floor and pass the ball past the scrambling goalkeeper into the back of the Bournemouth net. Overall, it was a decent start for Chelsea. If only it lasted. See, I should have known we'd have been fucked. He scored in the 13th minute, and 13 is an unlucky number. My conspiracy theories aside, we looked really good in the first half, with some really good chances for Nicholas Jackson, who scored none of them. But then it got to the second half and Chelsea came back out and decided to piss about. They really looked off the pace, and this was clear from the 45th minute when Moises Caicedo conceded a silly penalty that Justin Kluivert easily slotted home. And things went from bad to worse shortly after a corner, as Marc Cucurella was seen to be brought down by David Brooks by the hair in the beginning of a Chelsea counter-attack. Referee Robert Jones was called to the screen to take a closer look and awarded Brooks a yellow card after a thorough review. Firstly, this is history in the making, as VAR recommended a red card, which was the main reason why Rob Jones was sent to the screen in the first place. Yet this ref decided to completely ignore the recommendations of VAR and give David Brooks a yellow card instead of a red. While the referee is allowed to do this, this also makes me think... I honestly don't know what's more frustrating. The fact that he shouldn't have got away with it, or the fact that this has happened to Cucurella before, and the player involved has gotten away with it. But in this case, the player in question was Christian Romero. While this was a few years ago now, this still rubs many Chelsea fans the wrong way, because you can clearly see Cucurella's hair being pulled by Romero, but Anthony Taylor doesn't take any action as a consequence. While that is another example of why Anthony Taylor is clearly biased against Chelsea and should never referee another Chelsea match again, let's go back to the point at hand. From further away, it does look a lot like David Brooks did pull the hair of Marc Cucurella. However, if you zoom in, it could be argued that David Brooks is in fact pulling Cucurella's shirt, which could have been why Rob Jones decided to deem the incident as a reckless action and not violent conduct. But at the same time, a different referee may have also given that as a red card. While I do understand nobody's perfect and everyone will have different perspectives on everything, it is still frustrating for Chelsea fans to see, and makes me strongly regret not changing the title of this video to "Referees These Days Are a Joke." And to take things from worse to even worse was Antoine Semenyo, who blasted Bournemouth into the lead. At this point, I turned it off depressed. However, I did turn it back on at the 90th minute to watch the final whistle and be even more depressed. Instead, I saw Reece James and Cole Palmer standing over a free kick. And what happens next is history.
Here's James. Oh! Reece James is back!
A wonder free kick from Reece James gets us back onto level terms and secures us a point. What was even better was this was his first Premier League game back from injury and he's gone and scored that. Yeah, our captain's back, guys. So, my final thoughts on this. We did a bit better than the last few games. Our first half was strong, but we need to just stop capitulating after 45 minutes. Enzo Maresca's early use of substitutions was good, but maybe he should start putting substitutes on from the 45th minute. Then that way we can keep control for the entire game instead of just the first half. That's my opinion. I'm not sure if that would actually work though. But, however, something does really need to change because our last 5 now looks atrocious. And we've got Wolves next and Man City after. Wolves is winnable, but the way we're playing, it's more likely what happened last year will happen again. Especially given Cole Palmer's not likely to play as well as Levi Colwill. We're fucked, boys. And Man City seems to have come back from their run of losses, and we go away to the Etihad. There's no chance of winning. I'm hoping we get a draw here. But now I finish this video with some transfer news. Trevor Chalobah has been recalled from his loan at Crystal Palace to help Chelsea defensively, given Wesley Fofana and Badiashile are out for an extended period of time. This is actually a good idea. Chalobah has Premier League experience. This is why I think our defence will cook if we put Chalobah and Colwill at centre-back and Achimpong at left-back. It will also make Todd Boehly realise how he spent an unnecessary amount of money when our academy is one of the best in the world as they produce some of the best players. If our backline starts like that, we will cook. Speaking of academy graduates, there was a rumour circulating last week that Chelsea were interested in re-signing Mark Gahey. Enzo Maresca revealed last week that he liked Mark, and his contract also expires in 18 months, and interest has grown for the England international, who has also shown no interest in extending his stay at Selhurst Park. Chelsea did offer an amount which was well below Palace's asking price, so it also makes sense as to why Chelsea brought back Chalobah. He is a relatively cheaper option and is worth that amount because I think he's insane and shouldn't have been loaned to Palace in the first place. There was also news that Chelsea were also interested in bringing back Fikayo Tomori from AC Milan. However, as I am bringing this story to my own viewing so late, it has been confirmed that Chelsea did show interest in the player and would be prepared to sell Axel Disasi in order to bring him in. But it has been confirmed that Chelsea were only interested in the player and have made no move to sign him whatsoever, with Juventus being the front runner to sign the player when his contract runs out in June. In my humble opinion, we should get him but sell Disasi and Badiashile first, especially Badiashile. Then we definitely would have the funds to sign him and we would got rid of two of our worst players. There was also news regarding Christopher Nkunku. It was well documented in October that Nkunku was looking to leave Chelsea to seek more playing time elsewhere, and a rumour has surfaced this week that he could maybe make a move back to the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich have reportedly shown interest in Nkunku, with Chelsea demanding a £65 million from the German giants. Then there was also the rumour that Chelsea were keen on signing Matis Tel in return for Nkunku. It has also been well documented that Tel has got very little game time at Bayern, with Fabrizio Romano reporting on Wednesday that active talks have been held between Chelsea and Bayern to sign the player. It has also been reported that the 19-year-old likes the idea of moving to London, but would only join Chelsea if he is guaranteed some playing time. Personally, I think that Tel would be good for Chelsea. He would quite literally fill the boots of Nkunku in the squad, with it being most likely Tel would play in Nkunku's position in Chelsea's B team. That would also be Tel's natural position as well, as he would start at the front, up top. But that would also mean he would have to compete with Mark Guiu for game time in midweek fixtures, because no one has had a chance to challenge Nicholas Jackson for his place in the first team. However, Bayern's sporting director has stated that Tel is an important player for them. If he's so important to you, then why aren't you playing him? Stop the cap, mate. Aight, pause. This is post-production Liam here with some breaking news. It has been announced by Sky Germany that Nkunku to Bayern is off. So, what is Chelsea's next bright idea? Try and sign Alejandro Garnacho. In the last few hours, reports have come out Alejandro Garnacho has been linked with a shock move to Chelsea. Chelsea realised they couldn't get Mainu, so now they're trying to go for Garnacho instead. The Argentinian has already been heavily linked with a move to Napoli, which I reckon has taken a toll on his form because he has not been great in the last few games, especially against Southampton last night. But according to L'Equipe, with Disasi and Nkunku set to leave the club, Enzo Maresca wants to strengthen his attack, with Chelsea prepared to spend £60 million to sign Garnacho, who will most likely be benched for United's next game against Brighton. Todd Boehly, mate, put your wallet away. We have like 10 wingers already. We don't need another one. And we're getting 2 more in the summer as well. This is overkill. What makes even less sense is the fact that Chelsea are more than happy to fork out £60 million for Garnacho and aren't prepared to pay a decent amount for Guehi, a class centre-back, which is something we need right now. Nah, the game's gone, innit? What the hell is happening at this football club? We should get more details later, and when we do, I promise you, I will make a proper video discussing this transfer saga, because this just makes zero sense. In other news now, after his brace last Saturday, Brighton have expressed interest in signing Tosin Adarabioyo. This rumour only surfaced like yesterday as well, so it remains to be seen whether Brighton actually make a move to sign him. But seeing how people are saying we are in a defensive crisis, this is extremely unlikely that Tosin will be sold this window. But on more concrete information, it has been reported to us that Lazio are in pursuit of Cesare Casadei, with the player already saying yes to a move back to Italy. In my opinion, this is a win-win opportunity for Chelsea. Casadei is one of the players who has got very little game time so far this season, and Chelsea would be happy for Lazio to take him off their hands, and they will also get a player for the under-22 squad at the same time. Lazio are looking to sign Casadei on a permanent deal for €13 million, so to Adbid Torino, who have also shown interest in the midfielder. Look no further than this channel for any more updates on this player. And finally, we have the stories of Ben Chilwell and Carney Chukwuemeka. At the opening of the transfer window, both players were once again informed that they have no place in the side and it's best if they both look to play elsewhere. This is really sad to see. Ben Chilwell has been really loyal to the club, being one of the two players who were part of our Champions League winning squad and are still here. And Carney Chukwuemeka has also been good when he's played. It would be a shame to see them go, but it can't really be helped if they don't fit the manager's system. And the needs of the club, it really comes before the players, let's be honest. Maresca wants the team winning trophies and he doesn't think that they have anything to give to help them with that. It's a shame, but that's football. Hopefully they can go to another team and they can get the playing time they need. Both are really good players and they will be a credit to whichever team they go to. Honestly, I think 4 of our 8 goalkeepers should be sold instead. We don't need them. But I've spoken about this already, so I won't go into it again. So that concludes this episode of the Chelsea Review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. So that's all from me today. Thanks for watching and goodbye.